Welcome back for another daily crypto update. My name is Aaron Dishner from the Better Traders, and today we're going to be looking at these coins, these flags, these charts because a lot has happened over the weekend. But first, and always first, we start with BTC because Bitcoin always drives the direction of the market. Now, price action last week was a gift, literally a gift. Monday, starting at 85K, working all the way up to 95K. Insane, even piercing above the must-watch level that I've been talking about so often. We had not just an incredible week, but we had a very exciting week. Now, if you all watched that video I shared on the Coin Bureau Trading channel, you should remember something extremely important about that. A pierce above these levels, and we actually saw a pierce here. Let me see, we got this guy. So we got a pierce here. And then here, 95K, 95K, 3 pierces in a row. But where were the candle closes? The candle close was not above $95,000. That was the first thing that I was waiting and watching for. That was the first requirement of further upside continuation. Now, I will say that pierces above $95,000, that is a huge sign of strength. It's actually an extremely positive sign. But it's not a close. It tells me that this level is being weakened and pierced and punctured over and over, which means that eventually it's going to give way, but it's not a close above, which means it's not as good as it could possibly be. Now, looking at daily RSI, are we seeing lower highs and lower lows? Well, we're seeing a peak on RSI here on Friday at 84.04, Saturday just slightly less, Sunday less, and we're less today. But seriously, we're still above 70. We're still overbought on RSI ever since here on Tuesday. So we're on day 6 of being overbought on the daily time frame. So what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for if and when RSI will cross below 70, and then when it goes back up, I am fairly certain that we will see something like this. Maybe not even that high, but there's no way that we're going to see RSI shoot up to 84 or 90 or something crazy like that, unless some God candle is printed on the charts. But we're probably going to see some sort of RSI action like this, where it goes up and down like this, if things are going to stay bullish. But the reality is that we're seeing our first cracks of weakness. So this isn't exactly strike one yet, but it's getting really close. Again, we've had a pretty good push up here ever since last week, Wednesday. So we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days above 90K. It's really good. Now, daily volume. Another thing I said, not only does price have to close above 90K, RSI should be putting in lower highs and lower lows. Right now, it's putting in a lower high. We're not seeing it bounce back yet. I also said volume should be outperforming the 30-day, the yellow moving average right here. Now, this is unfortunate because Saturday and Sunday typically have really low volume. Now, this Saturday and Sunday was actually pretty good. But again, we've also seen some Sundays which are insane for volume. So volume is usually low on the weekend, and it's just kind of given. This is Good Friday, so yeah, volume's going to be low. Last week's volume was really good, but this isn't great. So I'm not looking at 3 strikes, but I am looking at 2 right now. And the outcome for this is if Bitcoin cannot close above 95K this week, we're going to see something like this happen. We'll probably see a pullback here, to be honest, to like 93K or so, back down here to support, push up again. If it can't push above 95K and close above, but it keeps testing it over and over, that will be a major warning signal that there's weakness in the price, because that means that RSI will be falling and volume will be falling as well. And then we'll slowly start to see the price trickle down. Now, the terrible, like no good, very bad day target is 82K. Now, this is like doomsday scenario. Honestly, there's no reason why it should fall this much. There are also targets here that we can look at. We can identify 90K should be a target that should hold this level here at 86K. So that's why I have this yellow line bouncing off of the 0.5 fib level, the 0.382 fib level, and then finally down here where it should bounce and be done. And from here, it'll move up higher, most likely putting up to 100K or even to the previous all-time high at 109. Why? Because we have a nice structure of moving up higher. And if you put in a higher low, then that means we're going to see a higher high, which is a good structure to see. So I know it's not the best news that we could possibly get, but you know what? It's actually not that bad. Now, I want to keep moving through. All right. Stablecoin dominance, it's not looking terrible, but there's just a couple things we need to know. For one, a positive thing is that today we are seeing a TBO Open short in progress, which is great. This is confirming a bearish downtrend. But keep in mind, we saw one of these back over here before we saw some sort of like whipsaw action where it actually shot right back up. This is basically the same formula that we're looking at right now. We're seeing TBO close longs, the blue diamonds, cross down, open short, price rips back up before finally falling lower. And it takes a long time till we see these signals, 50 days. Those are the signals we want to see. Those are TBO breakdowns. Those are bearish, explosive prediction signals, essentially. Opposite of the breakouts, so breakdowns. And those worked really well. So we're still looking at quite a bit of time until we could probably see some explosive action. We'll see. Another thing that's not so great, it's not terrible, but it's not great, is that we had an RSI reset, meaning that RSI for stablecoin dominance has moved above 25. So this means that we're probably seeing some sign of a bottom here for stablecoin dominance at this level of about 7% or so. So moving back up to the TBO fast line would just be a small little move of like 3% or more. And this lines up with my feeling like Bitcoin could see that pullback, but we're not sure yet. But things are aligning. Others dominance did close above long-term overhead resistance on Friday, and printed a TBO close short, which is great. Now, we're not seeing it shoot up higher and higher, which is fine, but we have 1, 2, 3 days confirmed above resistance. That means that this level is technically done. It's technically broken. And we also have right here, you can see the quote unquote price wicking right into the TBO fast line. That's our entry line. We also saw RSI getting overbought. It's like this is an amazingly strong recovery for this chart. But if Bitcoin dumps, this is going to follow. The others, market cap, had a pretty amazing recovery last week as well, moving up in total about 18%, just the market cap. But of course, many other coins did it way better than that. Daily RSI shot all the way up here to 82.69, and it's fallen down below 70. But the biggest thing that we can really celebrate right now is the fact that on-balance volume shot up out of this terrible zone right in here. Not only did it move up higher, but look at the moving average. It just shot straight up. So this is a really good sign of strength for others. Now, let's look at some individual charts. There's some good things and there are some things to be worried about or mindful of. Mindful is a better way to say it instead of worried. The first good thing that we can see is that Ethereum finally printed a TBO close short on Saturday's close, which is great, and a cross up. These are both bullish reversal signals. This is telling us that the price is probably going to come down here to the fast line, which is at about 1791 right there. Oh, sorry, the TBO is the first number right there. So 1721. And then from there, we should see it move up higher. Should. Now, daily RSI has been a little bit weak, in my opinion. We had a high here on the 23rd of April at 71.84, then 71.98. So slightly higher, yes, but kind of a double top. We'll see. And another good thing that we're seeing is that on-balance volume is above the white line. And for once, we're actually seeing this white moving average curling upward, indicating that bullish volume is actually building up for Ethereum. Now, we've seen this happen before after a massive downtrend, and it still took some time for Ethereum to show that big bullish energy. But this is really, really, really good, to be honest, for a chart that's been so bearish for such a long time. Toncoin printed a TBO close short on Saturday, and it also tested overhead resistance. It has struggled with this level for a long time. Hopefully we see it push above, but the good news is that on-balance volume is amazing. RSI is looking really good. Volume is the weak link here. We're not seeing enough volume to really see Toncoin push up higher, but this is a good chart. AVAX printed a TBO Open Long, confirming a bearish long position, bullish long position. It's a good thing. It's normal also to see the price pull back to the TBO fast line here in about 2063. But now at this bullish confirmation here, this would be a good chart for running a DCA bot. Things are looking really nice, especially with on-balance volume. Yes, it's bullishly consolidating inside of the TBO cloud as well. IOTA printed a TBO Open Long yesterday with a nice pump of volume. Look at on-balance volume. Look at RSI. Like, this is an amazing looking chart for a reversal. SPX6900 printed a TBO Open Long yesterday, which is probably going to confuse a lot of people thinking that, no, there's no way that Murad is right. Must stop Murad. Good grief. But the truth is that on-balance volume has been super bullish really ever since mid-March, despite price action being trapped for a lot of this period, just going sideways between 30 cents and 63 cents. But with this printed, it's a good sign. GIGA is in process of printing a TBO Open Long. Notice all of the volume coming in ever since last Tuesday, which is amazing. Notice on-balance volume moving average is pointing up. RSI has been overbought over and over and even put in a new local high. There's a lot of strength in this chart and it is in bullish consolidation mode. Now, SUI, this one I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about. SUI did move and hold above the daily TBO cloud, but which is pretty normal for the weekend. There's low volume, low interest in this chart. It did hold. And we have a confirmed TBO Open Long from Friday. So why am I making these weird faces? Well, in the 4-hour, I'm seeing a lot of these TBT bearish divergence signals. Now, to be honest, when I see these signals, they're usually better interpreted when the slow line right here is flat or it's pointing down. So if this slow line was actually going like this, flat, this would be much more believable for a bearish pullback. If we were looking at the TBO slow line even pointing down, which we could see happen sometimes with like a quick push up while the macro trend is bearish, this would be really bad. Now we're seeing 4 of these with an ascending TBO slow line. This means that the overall trend is up on the 4-hour time frame, but it's also obvious that volume is starting to die down. Daily RSI is starting to fall off quite a bit. We're seeing much lower highs on here, which tells us that strength is waning for this chart. It could still push up higher, but honestly, it's had an incredible week. 68% growth in 1 week is amazing. So it might stall. It might have a pullback to the TBFS line, but just keep an eye on this. It is starting to slowly show signs of weakening short term, but it's still very much strong bullish in my opinion. Litecoin did approach overhead resistance, but it didn't have enough juice, didn't have enough gas to break above $90 or so. Now, this is interesting because this is kind of what I was expecting. We have TBO support, which acts as resistance. Even though it's historical, it's still accurate. So right here at 87.98 or so. So on Saturday, we had a nice push up higher, really weak close, just under 1%. Yesterday closing down 2. Today we're down just slightly. But I really want to see Litecoin shoot up above overhead resistance and continue ripping up higher. Ondo, this one wicked several times into resistance, but notice that it never once closed above that line. Isn't that wild? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks in a row, 4 pierces in a row, which means that this line has been really severely weakened. I do believe that we should be able to see Ondo push up and above this overhead resistance level just because we've seen the price do it so many times here to like 1.05, and we have a TBO Open Long in progress. AVE, this one wicked, which is interesting, above overhead resistance and the 0.5 fib level, which is great, but it did not close. We want to see a close above this level. This is a really difficult thing to do when we have these intersecting lines of overhead resistance and Fibonacci levels. So I'm not surprised I think it was, I can't remember last week. I think maybe it was Fetch AI did something similar to this. No, it wasn't Fetch. It was another AI coin. I can't remember which one it was, but it did something similar to AVE, except it pumped out of nowhere, which is amazing. And usually that doesn't happen. So the main thing to understand right now is that Bitcoin is leading the charge, and that if Bitcoin is going to start having a pullback, it's not going to go well for alts, even though we've had a really good week last week. This is why I've been encouraging you to consider taking profits on the way up. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are looking much better than we did last month. I want to remind you that there's way more information that's shared at thebettertraders.com, whether it's one of our courses or it's the club. There's a lot of information to help you get started and become a better trader. Plus, You can join me at Consensus in Toronto on May 15th. You can reserve your spot here at the Better Trader Summit we're doing in partnership with Altrady. Hopefully, I'll see some of you there. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.